Meetings Act has ever been violated, and next up is our Mayor Karen Tome.
Okay, no, we are not violating any Open Meetings Act in the closed sessions or open meetings. Jeff brings up, Councilmember Snoots brings up the idea that it has something to do with management. It does, personnel issues, you have to make tough decisions sometimes. And I'm surprised because he's a manager. And sometimes personnel issues come up and you have to make tough decisions, and that's what leaders do. And Mr. Snoots has not opposed any of the decisions that we've made. He's voted for, I mean, he's agreed with what we've done in the closed session. So I can't understand why he's blaming that on management now. So we've been doing a lot of work too. We bought property, we're trying to buy property downtown. So we're doing a lot of things that require us to negotiate and go into closed session.
Thank you. Vaughn Ripley.
So I'm not privy to any closed door meetings or any of the stuff that's going on there, so I can't answer that part of it. What I can answer is this. It's up to the city council and the mayor to be honest and honorable people. And I believe that for the most part, that's what we have in this town. And that's just something that I'm going to bring to the table too. The first word in my motto as I run for council is integrity. If we ever have closed door meetings, I can promise you if there is anything going on that shouldn't be going on or that I feel is compromising integrity, then it will be discussed outside of the closed door meeting and it will be handled in an appropriate manner.
Laura Dvorak.
One ethical concept I've learned and practiced as a 30-plus year government employee is to be aware of the appearance of impropriety. If anyone senses that there's an official function and it's shrouded in secrecy, then that becomes a perception and for that person a reality. So it seems to go back to communication and what people are understanding and what's being relayed to them. I do not believe that OMA has been violated. I think personnel managers issues must be behind closed doors. That's appropriate. Other than that, I don't know of any violations.
Eric Beasley.
Well, since obviously I wasn't in the closed meetings, I have no idea what happened or if any provisions were violated. I will tell you that if there was a closed meeting called, whether it was Mayor Snoots or Mayor Tome, the first thing that I would do if I believed that the meeting was improperly closed is I would contact the Maryland Attorney General. There is an entire commission about violations of the Open Meetings Act, and I would submit a complaint there.
Thank you. Amanda McGannon.
So it's my understanding that all the closed sessions that have been utilized to discuss either personnel or land acquisition, so those, when they are being discussed, would have to be in closed sessions because they will, or down the road perhaps, lead to litigation, which is a whole nother mess. So in the case of personnel matters, if you're negotiating private property or the sale of or purchase of land, it really does only make sense to have those closed door. So if they were open in an open session, then that would just not be a great way for the town to be able to negotiate. And in all fairness, we wouldn't always get the best deal, which as a result would be at the taxpayer's expense. So as far as I know, that's my understanding, and obviously if I felt that something was closed and it didn't have to do with land acquisition or personnel, I would speak up.
The ceiling. Thank you. Angel White, you have an operational mic.
Yes, I do.
Good,
okay.
Go for it.
I'm going to echo what everybody else says. I can assure you that we've met in closed session only for the reasons that we are lawfully able to meet. Negotiations for land and property purchasing and for personnel. And I can assure you that each one of us on the council currently have made very sure that we are clearly within those guidelines. I can, off the top of my head, tell you many different times that we've stopped the conversation before it got any further than it should have as well. So that's all I have to say.
Tom Smith, is your mic working?
Okay. I don't
I can't turn that one off.
Eric?
It was just sitting there.
Okay. You turn things off all the time in Afghanistan?
No, I break things very well.
I don't see where any other than the elected officials would even have any information to even bring this up. The only thing I would think is what Jeff is saying, if most of the meetings are due to personnel, then that means you've got a serious lack of leadership somewhere. And I do know quite a few of the city employees, and I will tell you, morale sucks.
Okay. Now, that sucking sound you hear is the end of the third round. And we're at the point of the fourth and last round. But before we get into it, I think that we should make two observations. One is that you as citizens found this so important to inform yourself as voters that you're here and you've remained here as best you could on a weekday night, on a Monday night. There's a term of expression in the voting parlance, particularly among those of us who are active or even obsessive, and it's called low information voter. That's what we call a person who, in my opinion, is stupid. Jefferson says, a nation that expects to be ignorant and free expects what never was and never will be. Plainly, I'm speaking to the choir here because you are here to inform yourself. The second general comment I'd like to make is that each of the people here prepared, answered questions, may circulate printed versions of the questions that they answered, have spent time thinking about what they would do and why they're running, and they deserve your applause for doing so no matter how you vote in the election that's upcoming. So I think this would be a good time before their final comments that you applaud them for all the reasons that I've said. And now I call upon my partner, Annalise, for the final time. You can do it. This is it. This is it. This is the last time.
Tom Smith.
We moved over a one. And the mic will be on and work. Now, this is a 1-minute wrap-up for each of the candidates to say what's on their mind, whatever they didn't get to say, or whatever they've thought of since they got to say. Among us trial lawyers, they always say there's 3 summations. There's the one that you think to give before you get up, the one you give when you are up, and then when you sit down, the one you say, I should have said whatever. This is that opportunity, this last round, to say something that they didn't have an opportunity to say or just to thank you. So with that, Tom Smith, you have a minute.
I believe one of the questions was, what is your most rewarding thing you did? As they listed the incumbents while I used to be elected official, and I've always felt that the most rewarding thing as elected official in all my years I had was when I transferred the slow pitch softball field over to Little League Baseball and gave them more room, more space, and they wound up with 2 fields there. To me, with all the things I ever did, that gave me the most pleasure.
Thank you. Jeff Snoots.
I guess I'm going to add to Tom. First of all, again, thank you for everybody being here. I just want to make a comment. They said that all the signs in town, that must show a lot of support for me. So if you have a sign in your yard, thank you. The most memorable thing I wanted to comment on is the most memorable thing for me for being the city councilman is when we saved our food bank. The food bank was in desperate need of a place to go. The church parsonage where they were at, needed the church back. But the leaders of the food bank met resistance with our mayor and city administrator, stating they didn't have a dog in the fight. It wasn't a city responsibility. It wasn't a government responsibility. Well, I beg to differ, okay? There's a lot of mouths in this town that are fed out of that food bank. So I sent a memo to each council member asking them to support our recommendation to move it to the annex. It passed 6-0. So I thank those council members who did that. I thank the workers of the food bank who kept it open. And again, if I'm elected mayor, I will continue to listen to my residents like I have always done as city council.
Ginger Cayo, you have a minute.
And am I wrapping up?
You're wrapping up. This is the
Wrapping up.
last word of the evening.
All right.
On your mark.
All right.
Get set. Deliver.
All right. I do want to thank the audience for coming. This is a huge turnout, and it shows how engaged we are with the community. I am a Brunswick Crossing resident. I am actually the first Brunswick Crossing resident to ever run for council. So this has been a tough election season for me, as you know, I am the new person. But I think that it shows that I am dedicated to this community. I'm passionate. I have even said that I would give up my salary and give it back to Brunswick. So I look forward to seeing you around town on Facebook, via email. Some people have my phone number. Try to refrain from calling me, but let's continue to move Brunswick forward. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Okay, Karen Tome, you're next up.
Okay, my mantra, personal responsibility. I don't agree with Eric is that government is not a necessary evil. Government is a great thing, and we have an incredible system in this country. And so I do want to say the bottom line in this election is going to be that I have the proven leadership qualities to keep us moving in this positive direction. My opponent has had the opportunity, but has not done anything to move us forward. Prominent Frederick County developer Rocky McIntosh told me 4 years ago that Brunswick's revitalization would take 20 years. So I'd like to do it in 8. So we can't afford to go backwards now. Why change? We're on the right track.
Thank you. Vaughn Ripley.
I'm a passionate man. Some of you guys know that I give 100% everything that I do. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's something that I care about, something that I love, something that I want to be a part of, I give everything into that. And I'm also a positive person. And I feel that something that we need right now is a little bit of positivity. I feel like I need to walk into a room and drag some positivity in with me. And I know that I can do that. And I also know that 11 years ago, when my wife and I moved here with our little baby, we fell in love with this town. And I am passionate about this town and the people. And if I'm elected into office, I promise to bring every single bit of passion that I have into the office.
Thank you. Laura Dvorak.
Thank you all again for your very provocative questions. And as a senior citizen, I'm happy to represent everyone. Today I was just asked to do yet another volunteer job. I said yes. It's going to be at the Senior Center. I'm going to lead art projects. So I'm excited about that. But I want to work with everyone here because I love the town. The people are great. I've got the energy. I've got the time. And I have the experience. So I hope you'll vote for me.
Thank you. Eric Beasley.
Look, I've been watching the city for many years now, going to council meetings, seeing what's going on, learning about the issues, okay? Go to my website, beasleyforbrunswick.com, right? And read my issues, okay? Read the specific policies that I highlight on there, okay? There's no fluff, there's no avoiding an issue, there's spelling out exactly, this is what I'm gonna do, all right? I'd encourage all of you to go there and read it. Watch the video of this debate afterwards, okay? Remind yourself what was said, all right? I hope that you vote on the issues. I hope that you vote on what is logical and legal and who is going to be able to best execute that.
Thank you. Amanda McGannon, final phrase.
Yes, I just want everyone here to know, and if you know anything about me when you leave today, is that I am not old. I'm not old Brunswick. I'm not new Brunswick. I am Brunswick. I sit on my porch across from the police station in my historic home that I fell in love with 10 years ago. I'm a single parent. I can still thrive here, have a quality of life, and the sense of camaraderie makes me feel like every day that I chose the right place to live. We have wonderful resources and rich heritage, which I intend to preserve and never let that story die. So I hope that you know that if you vote for me and I earn your trust, that you will know that I will always give it my all and do a good job and be committed.
Thank you. Angel White, you're last up. Is your microphone operational?
I've left it on this whole time. Is it working?
Okay, your minute now begins. Go.
So Brunswick is where we raise our children, work and play. These are the things that I've thought of all along. When I first came to Brunswick and saw that there was opportunity, I grabbed it and I took and ran with it. I opened a business in downtown Brunswick because I felt it was so important to help with the revitalizing the town. Because of health issues, unfortunately, I could not keep it running. However, I take my economic development position very, very strongly. And I was able to have, with the help with Samantha Francis, who owns a wellness center downtown, she expanded her business into that space. That is how passionate I am with this. She was an incubator in my space downtown, and I wanted to make sure that there was not going to be one more empty space downtown. I love this city, and I will continue to work and listen to every one of you. So that's why I ask for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. The ceiling never fell down. Amazing. I want to thank two more people before we finish. Annalise for volunteering so willingly. And somebody that's really close to me that I've known a long time, Holly Smith-Flannery. Stand up. Stand up, stand up, stand up. She's good on time, you know? I think everybody agrees that to their detriment in some cases, but that's okay. We can always find time to speak. Finally, I think we should thank our candidates one more time for their effort, but before you do, they have another event. They have a debate with before the League of Women Voters on July 19th at 6:30 in the American Legion Hall. I am not moderating that, so it won't be half as fun, you know, but, or I haven't been asked to anyhow. Now, at this point, I think it would be appropriate also to thank our sponsors for the evening. We have Ellis over here and his group, please. And the Brunswick citizen, Julie Maynard, is here. And last, and the focus of the entire evening, I think our candidates should stand up and we should give them a round of applause and send them on their way. Thank you very much, one and all. Drive safely, vote, and tell your neighbors to vote, and educate those low information voters.